The logo for Art21, the producer of this film, appears on a black screen. This short documentary features the 6-person artist collective I Want to Be With You Everywhere. It was filmed at Performance Space and the Whitney Museum in New York City. The film depicts the collective and their many friends and collaborators, a multiracial, multi-gender, cross-disability community of artists. The visuals cycle between observational footage of the events the artists organize, a sit-down interview with the collective, and multiple Zoom conversations. Sections of the film feature white captions over solid color backgrounds, giving time for the audience to focus on the artist's words. From time to time, split screens present multiple angles of the same event side by side. Some sequences were filmed handheld, providing an intimate, spontaneous texture. These stylistic choices are intended to celebrate the collective's ethos of embracing the beauty of the mess. A solid background of deep sky blue fills the screen.
This is Amalle. So should we just do the visual description so that we have them and flag them however?
White Futura text appears in different parts of the screen as different voices speak.
This is Tina. I also kind of liked Madison's idea, which is kind of collectively describing the whole group or something.
This is Carolyn.
Sorry, I mean, maybe we should just do descriptions, but say that it's for the film.
This is Jerron. I'm well versed in you are not yourself on camera. So I'm a reenactment of Jerron, and he knows access perfectly all the time.
Me too. This is Caro speaking. I also never fuck up access, ever.
6 Zoom windows appear, each featuring a member of the collective.
We'll write it in the chat and then we just say it together.
Okay.
Why don't we just say
cute.
where I want to be with you everywhere?
How about, and we're an artist collective. Who wants to go first?
Last person who spoke. Oh, dang. It's me. Okay.
We're everywhere. And here we are.
We're an artist collective.
And our name is our vision.
The title of the film appears. New York Close-Up. I Want to Be With You Everywhere. Looking out from the courtyard of Performance Space at midday, trees sway over the foot traffic of First Avenue in Manhattan. Inside the courtyard, a large projection screen is centered on stage, surrounded by other monitors. A rehearsal for the collective's Summer Solstice event is taking place. A series of split-screen views appear over a strong dark green background, showing a spirit of collaboration among artist friends and colleagues.
We're trying to have it be the same visually as carved, so that it will be like a black screen with yellow text.
Carolyn and Michelle Lisa work with interpreters signing an ASL.
But yes, during my musical parts, I'll be writing cart live. Yeah.
Jerome Ellis, a musician, plays saxophone, manipulating the sounds on a small mixing board.
This is Amalle. We are essentially a gathering of by and for disabled people, artists and writers, and really anybody who wants to get with us. Access is just what we need in order to get together. That's true for everyone, disabled or not. And as artists, we tend to get creative with that.
Jerron Herman, and I'm a dark-skinned Black man with facial hair. Disability is about the beauty of the mess and of the mixture. And it's in our coming together that we get to reflect on why we're together, what do we need to be together, what do we need to do to survive. And then really, how can we bubble up some joy about our experiences, our collective and different experiences together.
And this invitation is small bend. It's small creases or folds in the body. So all the ways you can imagine creasing and folding.
Kayla Hamilton, a dancer, moves with a microphone past the chain link gate to the courtyard.
I'm just seeing how far we can go in case people get real into it.
I like
you
you all
know,
the way
they want to
over there.
take it into the street.
I appreciate it.
Performers from People Who Stutter Create rehearse over Zoom on the center screen.
She watched the lanterns light the night, wishing her voice could take flight. Her heart held stories.
This is Alice.
Captions appear on a solid green background.
One of the things I love, there's like practice in formation. There's practice in like how we get the thing produced. I think it's like pushing forward a different notion of how we can be with each other artistically, and also the kind of ways that we can create gatherings with art at the center. And
A yellow taxi drives down a side street towards the Whitney Museum in Manhattan. Looking up at the museum's facade, a sign advertises the 2024 Whitney Biennial. Chairs are arranged in a semicircle facing the camera in front of a gray cement wall. Constantina, Carolyn, and Jerron enter the frame one by one. Their names appear next to them in white Futura font.
The frame is, so there's a black piece of tape under where you're. So between that piece. Adam. between these two pieces of tape, and you don't have to be in it.
Amalle, Park, and Madison appear in the semicircle and greet one another as they settle in. Alice wheels into the frame, and Carolyn stands to rearrange the group to make space for her. The group is now ready for an interview. A wide shot of the group and close-ups of individuals appear side by side.
How did the collective come about? Yeah, how did you come together?
Yeah.
It's kind of always coming together, like, because the point of it is to be together, to get together, and like for some of us we were friends, but even to be able to become friends with others, it was like we needed these spaces to I don't know, let us in, like physically, like be able to enter, and so that's what we try to build. We just try to build the ways to be together.
On an outdoor terrace at the Whitney Museum, hands move across the surfaces of multiple colossal sculptures by Torkwase Dyson. I Want to Be With You Everywhere organized and led a touch tour at the 2024 Whitney Biennial. The tour invited participants to interact with artworks on display in tactile ways that are typically prohibited in art institutions.
Touch is not the same as seeing. It's a whole different experience.
Bojana Kokliat, a Whitney educator, addresses the group before the touch tour.
Think about not just touching it with just your fingertips, but with your whole hand, with the palm of your hand, taking your finger and going down to kind of hear what it sounds like, knocking on it, thinking about it as a whole different way to experience artwork.
Participants feel and move around the sculptures, sharing in their discoveries with excitement.
Traditionally, the way access is sort of framed is as something that has to do with getting access to something, like to an institution or to a resource, access to employment.
To the cabinet in your kitchen.
Yeah, access to the cabinet, access to the sink, access to like housing, like these kinds of things.
Retrofitted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a kind of thing that's about that sort of kind of like accepts the world and its constructedness as a given, and then that there's a requirement for accommodation in order for disabled folks to participate. And I guess for us, if I can speak on our behalf, I think we definitely don't think about access in that way at all.
Okay, like steps. Yeah, steps are access for ambulatory people that bend their leg in this kind of way and want to get up an incline that they'd otherwise slide down, right? So I see steps. I'm like, that's a great access point. What a beautiful accommodation to ride the subway if you're a walking person. Do you know what I mean? Like that's great. Like if you showed up and there was just a big hole and they removed all the steps, and I would be like, I saw you at the climbing gym, and you know, you can do it.
Inside a gallery at the Whitney, the camera follows behind Jerron as he walks beside a participant in a wheelchair.
This is Constantine. I'm the artist of this piece.
Blue and purple lights in soft focus illuminate a dark space. Constantina sits in a wheelchair speaking into a microphone.
The light in the room, it's right at the edge of what sighted people can see.
Participants lay on a large gray carpeted ramp. A projector throws faint text reading, "The universe is made of abundance."
The captions are overlapping and fragmented, and also somewhat slipping in and out of being able to be legible. So it's a sound piece that you feel rather than hear.
An ASL interpreter signs along with Constantina's words as participants relax into the space.
So if you're on the ramp, you might get more tactile sensations. Some people might enjoy them and want to lay down and experience it like a massage. The sound waves will be touching you, and you can touch it any way you want to. It's made for and by touch.
A large group of people with masks joyfully gather in the oversized elevator at the Whitney, waiting to go upstairs.
This is Park speaking.
White captions appear on a solid red background.
If you're getting a diagnosis, you're already often segregated from other CRIPs. I think our deepest desire from I Want to Be With You Everywhere is, we want to know people who might have some similar lived possibility, ways of moving through the world or lived experiences, but we really know there's so much more, and we know that there's so many other ways of doing the thing that we're told there's only one way of doing.
On a different floor at the Whitney, Carolyn's mirrored cabinets filled with Vaseline are installed on the floor. Carolyn talks about their work in front of a large crowd in the gallery as participants touch the Vaseline and react with surprise.
How, the doctor used to sort of come house to house with this like black, loose, slouchy bag full of stuff. And then eventually those things became objects and medications and treatments that you would have inside of this square hanging in your personal bathroom. Vaseline is both an occlusive and a lubricant, which means that nothing can penetrate your skin, and simultaneously that when it is in between two surfaces, it facilitates touch.
Looking out the window at other museum visitors on one of the terraces.
Sometimes I think about museums, and I think that in museums we're having such a poverty of an aesthetic experience, and it's literally because we can't touch it, we can't sit down. It's like
can't get a glass of water.
Yeah, it's there's no water. There's it's all of these things.
Basically a desert.
Yeah, it's you can't make a sound. You can't and it's so.
Amalle, Alice, Jerron, Park, Carolyn, Constantina, and Madison sit in a semicircle.
of course, being artists, you know, we create to allow people to come in. So how do you do that if there are no ways in?
Can I just say, like, ways in? Sorry, did we?
I'm done.
How many of us were in the pandemic and wanted to touch someone? Like, touch is at least one way of being together and like being in the art, and it decenters the ways that, in fact, institutions think about art being experienced. They think about art being consumed by sight. What if it's experienced by touch?
I don't know. I've been thinking about how touch is like, we need it. We need it. We need this. I need to be able. Can I touch you?
Yes.
I need to be able to. sorry.
Over a solid sky blue background, groupings of friends and touch tour participants hang out on the upper terrace of the Whitney. People are laughing, standing and sitting. Some are masked.
We often, disabled folks, disabled artists, people, often do a lot alone. And it's quite rare to interrogate being separate. It takes a little bit of courage to say, instead of allowing systems to separate me and to isolate me, I want to envelop, I want to be a part.
White captions appear as the dark blue-green background fades to black.
Where do people find each other if we can join that and be a part of that and like be with people? That's what we want.
Everybody in it is making it, right? It's not like we produce events and then other people come and be the guest. It's not really what it is. Once you're in there, you're in there. The art's almost an excuse to like build a little world, build some worlds.
Director and producer, Andrea Chung, Adam Golfer. Executive producer, Tina Kukielski. Series producer, Nick Ravich. Associate curator, Jurrell Lewis. Editor, Danya Abt. Cinematography, Adam Golfer. Additional camera, Daniel Shea, Hannah Weisenant. Sound, Turner Curran, TJ Prochelle. Assistant editor, Stephanie Sen. Sarah Yi Feynman. Michelle Hanks. Color correction, Cedric von Niederhausen. Sound design and mix, Micah Garrido. Music, Jerome Ellis. Design and graphics, Chips. Audio description, A. Seth. Blind quality control, Robert Kingett. ASL, DPAN. Artwork courtesy, Amalle Dublon, Jerron Herman, Carolyn Lazard, Park McArthur, Alice Sheppard, Constantina Zavitsanos. Thanks, Gia Bin, Bojana Kokliat, Crip Movement Lab, Delisha Daniels, Connor Foran, Kayla Hamilton, Crystal Kubart, Elizabeth Motley, People Who Stutter Create, Performance Space, Michelle Lisa Polisant, Alexandria Wales, Whitney Museum, Madison Zalapani, Art21 staff, Magda M. Detzian, Lauren Barnett, Hannah DeGarmo, Lolita Fierro, Ian Forster, Grace Lecates, Emma Nordine, Jessica Svensson, Noor Tamari, Nora Wimmer. Supported by the Andy Warhol Foundation for the Visual Arts, the New York State Council on the Arts, New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Every Page Foundation, James and Jane Cohen. For more, visit art21.org.